Hey, and welcome back to a new episode of Born To Cre8, the #1 podcast for creators worldwide. I am your co-host worldwide. I'm your co-host KL Jones, and I have my brother
Anthony Rudolph. But there's two of us here.
I know, but
who's the other
we
guy?
getting ready to get into it. Like,
who's that?
We not even starting with all the intro, right? We getting right into it. Please give it up for my brother, our friend, and our very special guest today, the Will Utley.
Yeah. Let's go.
Who does that?
Yo, let me tell you, I'm so super excited about this episode. It's gonna be a good one, trust me. So we're just gonna dive right in, bro. You don't have your shoes on. What's up with that?
Oh my goodness!
What?
Oh my goodness!
Okay.
I feel most comfortable with my shoes off. I feel like when I'm grounded in the environment, I'm able to be present a little bit more. It's actually a scientific fact that when you ground yourself, the ground and the grass, you get energy from the earth, whatever it's emitting. So a lot of people, when they work out, when they do like sand workouts, when football players work out in the sand or the grass, they are stronger athletes that way. And
really?
I just want to make sure I'm giving you guys a stellar performance today, so I took off my shoes.
Did you know that? You're going to be at the gym now with no shoes on?
With no shoes, no socks.
Whatever works for you.
Just in there.
Whatever works for you.
But yeah, I've heard about being grounded. I mean, and I know being grounded helps you perform better.
1000%.
But yeah, definitely, yeah. Yes, I have. But yeah,
Let me see.
gym, no shoes, no socks.
Okay, I'm going to dance with no shoes on. I'm going to cook with no shoes on.
No, that's how it was.
Just
I feel like
grounded.
shoes were created in a way for branding purposes, first and foremost, but a lot of our ancestors who were enslaved, I'm not going to say slaves, they were enslaved. They didn't have shoes on. They performed mightily. All kind of tasks. In the cold, in the heat, and even like Samoans, they walk on coals.
Yeah,
That's true.
No Timbs.
Listen,
Feet.
No Timbs.
I can guarantee you did not know that. You just learned something new right here on Born To Cre8 today.
Awesome.
Thanks to Will.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so let's get into who this genius of a man is. These two tall giants. Listen, your girl is sitting between two 6'4" kings, and I'm all of 5'4". On a good day, 5'5".
We are protecting the queen. We are protecting the queen.
At all
Absolutely.
So I'm giddy over here because I have both of my brothers. They are just meeting for the first time, but they are both very dear to me. So this is just really an incredible episode. We got our team in here. They are the most hardworking team, the most phenomenal team here. So shout out to the team. Y'all can't see them, but trust and believe, you don't see us without them.
Yeah, all this ish won't be happening without them. So
it would not be. All right, so let's get into it.
Let's go.
Will Utley, I like to describe you as a celebrity photographer, but even more than that, you are a storyteller extraordinaire.
Oh my goodness.
And storytelling and branding and creativity and content creation, those are all the things that we talk about on this show every week. So tell us how you got started in photography.
Interesting. Okay, so when I was 8 years old, I remember one Christmas I asked my mom for a camera, and she was like, "We can't afford it." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool, whatever." And every year after that, I asked my mom, "Okay, can we get a camera now? Can we get a camera now?" And it just wasn't happening. She was like, "No, she's a single mother raising 3 kids." So eventually I graduated, went to the military, bought my first camera, and I just shot everything. Everything that, anything I could see, I shot.
Okay.
And just trying to figure it out. And then one of my friends said, "I think you can make this a career because I like some of your stuff." And I was like, "Nah, it's just for fun. I'm not trying to do nothing like that." I mean, I do like Spike Lee. I do like, some of the other artists, but I'm like, nah, I'm just trying to figure it out. And I just picked up a still camera, did a whole bunch of shots for people. And then it became a bidding war. Someone was like, "How much do you charge?" And I'm like, "Charge? It's for free. It's for fun.
Like, what you mean I can make money?
I'm not charging. Like, this is cool. I still gotta learn the gift. I gotta like learn my sea legs or whatever." And 2 people needed something on the same day one time. It was a wedding and a club. And the guy from the wedding was like, "Well, how much you charge?" I'm like, "It's for free." He's like, "Well, I'll pay you $50. And I was like, "You're gonna pay me $50 to take pictures for you?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." So I told the other guy I'm doing his wedding, I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't do your wedding. The guy from the club's gonna pay me $50. He's like, "I'll pay you $500.
That was like a no-brainer.
So from club to wedding it is. From wedding to club it is. Right. I'm there.
And it was never about the money. It was just I didn't know how you can make this a career because I'm a first generation entrepreneur. No one in my family's went on their own and did their thing.
Let's sit in that for a minute because I think it's super important. Like you just shared something that a lot of creatives struggle with, right? Is really even recognizing their value and what they bring to the table, but also like being confident enough to say, you can never put a value on your art or who you are or your level of genius. But when we're talking about putting things out in the marketplace, creators, for some reason, not all, but a lot of times, and I've had these conversations before, it's really hard to put a value on our art, right? And so talk to the creative that's listening right now who may just be starting out or they've been doing it for any length of time, but they're still having those internal struggles with putting value to the thing that they do because no one else can do it in the way that you do it.
So there's so many different ways to answer this question. I don't want to take all your time. I don't want to take all the time, but I'll try to surmise what I want to say by saying this. There was an author who was in a bar one time, and the guy walked up to him and said something like, "That was a great book you wrote. What kind of no, I'm sorry, I messed up the story." He said, "You're a great photographer. What kind of camera do you use?" And the guy was like, okay. He's like, "What do you do?" He's like, "Well, I'm an author. I'm writing books." And he's like, "Well, what kind of pen do you use?" He's like, "It's not about the pen. It's about the story I have in my mind." Same with photography. As far as pricing yourself, there are these price calculators you can go on Google and try to find out how much you think you're worth, with total summation of your equipment, take off 30%, and you're supposed to charge, 3% of that 30% or something like that. But when it comes down to it, you have to be able to realize that this is a business. And the word photo is a lot smaller than the word business. And business will oftentimes surmise or surmass or overtake the word photo if you're not on your P's and Q's. So you have to be able to understand that you're selling a product to someone. It's emotional product because it involves people's emotions with seeing the photo and feeling a certain kind of way. But you have to realize that you are worth something. The goal is to figure out what the sweet spot is for you. Now, sometimes people can't afford it, and I get it. But I think for people who are starting out, you can't just focus on, oh, yeah, I just want to, do all these things, because there are people who are evil and wicked as well. What they'll do is they'll say, oh, okay, let me go to the photographer I really want to use and figure out what his pricing is, and go to this up and coming person and say, okay, well, Will charges me too much, but can you take pictures like Will would take? And I only will pay you $30 because, that's on my budget. And then you'll get the pictures back and you'll be like, oh, I feel cheated somehow because I wanted what he can do, but I went to someone who was kind of just starting out.
You're going to get what you pay for. You're going to get what you pay for.
So it's so many ways I can go with this, but you just have to be super careful that the love and the passion to be able to create, there are forces out there willing to squelch and squander and squash what it is you're trying to do, but you have to believe in yourself that much more to say that I'm worth something, and the goal is figuring out what that is. I hope I answered your question with that.
Absolutely.
But there's so much I could say with that.
It's good. We'll have you back
it's a lot.
Go ahead.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Sorry, brother.
Well, for me, it's like a lot of times creators don't think what they're doing is worth anything, right? They don't believe that because I take pictures or I make movies that I can make money from this, and that's the biggest disconnect that I see. Right? It's like you can get paid from your craft, but to you, is what you do valuable enough to go out there and charge?
True.
Because back in the day, I made 2 movies. Right?
Congratulations, man.
Thank you very, very much. Yeah, 2 feature films, but I didn't know I can get paid from that. I was so into creating and writing and directing and shots, but didn't know that, hey, I can go out there and make money with this, right? So you have to understand it's show business, right? You got to understand the business side of the show. And if you don't, then that's when you just stuck in being a creative and not making money from your creativity or your craft,
1,000%.
right? So one thing I always tell people is that, hey, learn the business side, not just the creative side, because they go hand in hand. Or get a teammate that knows business, right? And then you can focus
that you trust,
that you can focus on creating, right?
Oh. And that's a big why behind what we do with this show is, it's an intersection of creativity and business, and we're speaking to the creator about the importance of business, but also the person who's really well versed in business about the need to be creative and
1,000%.
pliable and flexible in your business as well.
1,000%.
So there's a lot of different ways this conversation can go, and I want to make sure that we get in as much as we can. Something happened. Like I already had in my mind.
Oh my gosh.
One prominent question that I wanted to make sure that I asked you before this show was over.
Thank you.
But something happened today.
I was thinking the other thing that happened.
Right, you were thinking the other thing that happened, right? But then something happened today. Talk to us, share with our audience, those that are listening and those that are watching, what happened today and what you had to do. Not just the physical act of what you had to do to get here, but mentally and emotionally, what you had to do to get here today.
So I didn't sleep last night because I was nervous about being on the pod.
Oh.
I know it's
you home.
I know I'm home, but at the same time,
I appreciate that.
I'm a private person, and I really feel like it's God in me allowing me to take pictures, not me at all pushing any kind of buttons or setting any kind of settings for my camera settings. Mm-hmm. This is God. This is not me. Going through mental health issues about, God, is this the right thing to do? No, I could do something else. It's just, and every creator goes through it. I'm sure you have to fine tune as you go along and be able to believe that much through the doubters, through the enemy's enemy. Mm-hmm. The biggest enemy is sometimes in a me.
Yeah.
Enemy. Yeah. That's deep.
So, I was driving here this morning. I'm trying to listen to all kind of like motivational speeches, so I have something valuable to say that I can be able to pass on to people who are watching. And I feel some rumbling in the car, and I'm like, maybe this is a bumpy road. Maybe I'll hit a cobblestone road or something on 91, and that's impossible because
I'm on the 91.
Right, I'm on the 91.
No,
what can you expect?
Right.
So there's a blowout, and I swerve, dribble. I'm in the middle lane, dribble, or I off to the left right before a big rig passes by. I looked at my car. I'm like, no, I'm on the way, God. I'm. Faith is an action word, so I'm taking action to get here, be able to tell about your goodness, about how you've been able to bless me throughout the years. And now this happens in the middle of 91, in the toll lane area. I'm like, God. All right, well, let me be responsible. Let me call Elle. Call you FaceTime, because I know a lot of people call, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? I woke up late and all this. I wanted you to see.
Yeah, no, because when I answered that, literally, you was like,
look,
I'm in the tire.
Look, I was like, here on time, all this.
Yeah.
It ended up being a car tire blowout on my right side. I'm on the phone with you. A guy pulls up to me, this white dude, fat dude. He had like a beard, and I'm like, not now. I don't want to hear about all this, man. Like, right about this Trump stuff. I'm in the wrong part of. I'm like, all right, whatever.
I'm in the wrong part of town.
I'm like, all right. He pulls up and he's like, can I help you? I said, yeah, man, I'm just, I'm going to call AAA, I'm going to handle it. He's like, if you fill out this survey, I'll do it for free. I need some.
Oh, really? Wow. A survey.
What? I'm about to push send on the AAA.
And AAA takes like an hour to get there anyway.
Bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. All right. I'm on the live. I have on camera on the whole time. I'm like, what's going on? Cause I'm still a little weary. He's like, you have a spare, all this? Pulled the spare out, did it for me, no charge, all this. He's like, yo, have a good day. I'm like, what's your name? He's like, my name is Lucky. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. All right. Put on the hazards, take off the hazards, put them on a signal. There's no car behind me. There's no truck.
Lucky is gone.
There's no truck behind me. I'm like, did I just encounter an angel?
Wow.
Pause. Sit in that for a minute, because I need y'all to get this. He was frustrated because he had an assignment. He had an appointment to be here with us in the studio today. Mm-hmm. So we're in Southern California. So for those of you who don't live in Southern California, the traffic is a beast out here. To travel anywhere, takes at least a minimum of an hour most times, oftentimes way more than that. And he lives about an hour and a half away from our studio. Wow. So he's more in LA County and we're in Riverside County. So there was a lot that he needed to do to prepare to get here. And he ran into an obstacle. And in that moment, that could crush anybody. And I had to talk him through that on FaceTime to say, bruh, it's okay. We'll figure it out. If we got to reschedule it, cool. Anthony and I can get on. We can do a different podcast episode, but we'll figure it out. It's okay. I just need to make sure you're safe. Lesson number 2 is never judge a book by its cover. He saw this man that presented one way, and in his mind, he already had a story about this man and what his encounter and experience was going to be like with this man. But I believe, based on what you've shared with us, you did encounter an angel. God wanted to make sure, because you have somewhere to be right after you leave the studio. Yeah. So it wasn't just about getting here with us. Mm-hmm. It was what I got to do after that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's a part of your job. Mm. So that's what you got, bro? 'Cause I'm over here like
I got preach. That's interesting. So 2 things pop up for me. One is when you said never judge a book, right? And it reminds me of something a friend of mine said. He says, "Do you judge the Amazon deliverer who bring you your package, or did you want the package?" Right? A lot of times we do judge the person that's delivering the content or delivering the package, but don't do that, because you want to get to a certain point, have a certain journey, right? If you constantly judge, then you won't get the blessing that's out there for you. And secondly, it's how many times do people stop in the face of adversity, right? They stop. I have a flat tire, whatever it is, but they stop. And stopping just makes you start over again, right? And start over again keeps you from getting to where you want to be. And I'm sure this isn't the first time that you've been up against a challenge, adversity, something stopping you from achieving your goals, something preventing you from getting to the point where you want to be or where you need to be or where God's calling you to be, right? And adversity stops a lot of people in their tracks. Yeah. It keeps them from being who they are. It keeps them from walking in their calling. It keeps them from creating what they want to create.
1,000%.
So I want to know is that what pushes you past adversity? What is it that keeps you going? What's your why? Because I'm sure it's happened a lot more times than just today, but something keeps you going, right? What is that?
I'm inspired by that which has yet to exist. And it's my job.
Unpack that for me. Unpack that for me.
Will just coming through with
you gotta unpack that
a whole bunch of quotables and tweetables and like what? Say that again.
Y'all, I like y'all.
Say that one more time.
I'm inspired by that which has yet to exist, because I'm one of the people who are in charge of bringing it to fruition. And so that's what keeps me going, is the fact that every next gig is my next gig. Someone who, people don't pay money for things they don't believe in. Well, and especially with this inflation, with the bricks coming up. I mean, come on, like, people don't spend and invest money in something that they don't believe in. And the fact that people would pay me or at least spend time with me to be able to bring out the best version of themselves in photos, that shows that they're investing in me like I'm investing in the best image that I'm bringing forward. And it's a symbiotic relationship between me and my clients, as well as I feel like I'm doing God's work. I'm somewhat of a messenger, and this is my ministry, is
like own that, because you are a messenger. Like we talk a lot about storytelling and messaging, and your art allows space, the room to craft and curate and share these different types of messages. So own that you are a messenger. Anthony, I love that you presented that question to him. Again, I've known them almost for an equal amount of time. I met Anthony first.
I didn't know that. Okay.
He was one of the first, when I met him, he was still producing films. Well, we still are, but he was solely in filmmaking.
I'll give you all my script.
Yeah.
Bring it over. Bring it over. Now we know the business side, so now we go somewhere now. Now we go somewhere.
now we can get this thing cooking.
Amen.
And I actually auditioned for and landed a role in one of his projects, which subsequently led to like 2 more.
Respect.
She was a Jamaican, so have her do her Jamaican accent.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Oh, you got one too. Okay. Y'all can go back and forth with.
Won't do none today.
Okay, man.
Okay.
My Jamaican accent becomes Mexican eventually, which is bad. I was about to say my friend, and it just changed.
True story. He asked me. He was like, okay, because on your resume you have like the different dialects that you could speak. So I had Jamaican and Puerto Rican on there, and so he wanted this character to speak in Jamaican, and for the life of me, only my Puerto Rican accent would come. Like I was like, oh.
I guess I can tell the difference. She got the role, so I guess I can tell the difference. Jamaican, Puerto Rican, come on down.
The islanders.
Does it matter if you are who the scene partner is with you, and you build off of them to bring that out, or is it something that you set and you can you can pace the conversation?
It's both, but in that instance, I was reading my sides, and it was actually we weren't even in the same location. We were on the phone. I see. It was crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. But I love that you asked that question, Anthony, because there was something. Sometimes it's not as easy as just remembering who you are or what your assignment is. Yeah. So I want you to talk briefly about an experience that you had. It's been maybe 2 years now? Has it been 2 years?
It feels like yesterday.
I know. So I get lost in time. But
I'll be quick.
You experienced complete life disruption and interruption in a way that really could have took you out of here, right?
In more ways than one.
Yeah, so share that with us.
February 5th, 2001. I know that because my birthday February 6th. I left my photo equipment in the car to check on...
2001? That wasn't
2021. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, wait a minute.
Thank you. 2021.
Whoa.
I left my photo equipment in the car to go check on my appointment at the studio space, walk back down, and everything was gone. Everything was gone.
What you mean gone? Like take us through
okay,
that.
Sure. So cameras, memory cards, lenses, lights, hard drives.
But how was it gone?
So they broke into the back of my car, pulled everything out in the matter of minutes on Hill Street in Los Angeles, downtown LA. So I'm in shock because I was like, oh, that's weird. Someone's car got broken into. But I'm like, no, that's my window. Car. I went, the first thing I think about was, okay, I have to be able to apologize to all these people who have their memories on my hard drive.
Wow.
Because that's oftentimes
that's the
bank,
master.
The master. That's the negative. So I'm like, okay, let me just go online and do one big post and everything like that. And I was livid. I was so enraged. So that I had that post. It's on my Instagram page.
I will never forget. Okay. I remember that live.
So then my friend said, well, it's your birthday tomorrow. Why don't we make a real quick video asking for donations, or, if you want to give, if you get $50, you're okay. And you can just pay some rentals till you get back on your feet. I'm like, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. He made this video. We posted it. In 4 hours, I was fully funded $15,000.
Wow.
In 4 hours, I was fully funded $15,000.
Say it one more time, bro.
Wow.
In 4 hours, 240 minutes, I was fully funded $15,000.
On your
Not
birthday.
done. In 6 hours, I was fully funded, and there was overflow of $20,000. In a 24-hour frame, I got funded $30,000. When I asked for 15, there's no way that God wasn't trying to leave a message that you're in the right field and we believe in you to keep going. First and foremost, I have to give a little backstory. Before I left for Atlanta, I bought some camera equipment, and God was like, "No, I want you to buy this because this is the kind of camera you need." But I'm like, God, it's like $5,000. Let me get the $2,000 one, and I'll $3,000, whatever. I'll get some lenses. He's like, no, but I want you to have the $5,000 one because where you're going in photography, I want the clients to feel like they have the royalty treatment. So I need you to have the $5,000 one. I bought the cheap one. Shot it. I'm like, it's okay, but I did save some money. I'll just kind of do more time editing, whatever like that. When he stole it, God said, no, you need to get the $5,000 camera that I told you to get in the first place. This might not have happened. So you have to be obedient. If he's telling you to do something, he's not saying it just to gas you up and get money out of your pocket. Where he's trying to take you and me and all of us in this room, you have to be able to have the kind of faith, and I don't know everyone's religion or whatever like that, but you have to have the kind of faith where you say, look, God said it, I'm doing it.
Okay, I need you to, because it's an emotional experience for me to hear, because I literally was watching this happen in real time, where he was on live, just broken, like, so the part that you didn't share was you wanted to walk away.
I was done
from photography.
I was
period. Done. Right, because it's one thing.
You were done because of the experience you had?
I was done because I felt like it was my lowest low. I feel like my camera was my child, and they took my child away, and I have no reason to live anymore. In that moment, I felt less than that.
So what was that physical feeling?
I wanted revenge. I circled the block several times looking for anybody who looked like anything. Went home to get something, which I shouldn't have. Went back, looked around, called the police station. The police took 4 hours to get there.
Right.
And they got there like, COVID, now. I felt like someone needs to feel the pain that I feel right now, and it can only be the person who has forsaken me. I know God says forgive your enemies. I was not looking for forgiveness. I was looking for retribution.
Yeah.
That's a real talk.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we feel that.
And thank God that I didn't see anybody. I was the only one out there, because it could have been a different story. It could have been a different interview too.
Yeah.
But you lost something, and God, like that exceedingly abundantly above all things, all that you could ask or think. Things. And it happened. I don't know if y'all caught that part. It happened the night before your birthday. Like, who is trying to be in any type of emotional space when they're preparing to celebrate a new year of life?
Yeah.
But and so I'm glad that you're being very vulnerable and transparent about where you were mentally, emotionally, and even physically and spiritually.
This is the first time I got a chance to relive that and share it on the platform. I tried to do something on my social media. It didn't hit the way I wanted it to, and I was like, I feel like people who gave were cheated. But I'm still dealing with that because it's still a loss. I thank God for changing everything, but it's still a loss. And
yeah, because it's a violation. When we get violated, that's a hard thing to shake, right? So before I ask you this next question, look at the camera over there, and talk to the people who contributed to your campaign back in 2021. If you just could say a couple words to them, what would it be?
You saved my life. In more ways than one, you saved my life. Thank you so much for believing in me to be able to invest in what was taken, believing in me long enough to be able to say, you know what? That was wrong. I'm rocking with Will. He's a solid guy. Let me give. And the craziest thing, the biggest donations, people didn't even want their names attached to it because they know how much of a giver I am, that I would have been like, hey, free photo shoot for you. Free photo shoot for you. I'll do whatever you want. I'll wash your car. I'll mow your grass. They were like, nah, I don't want you to know who I am. So then it's interesting because even when I go to shoots nowadays, I'm like, did this person give?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to charge you. Why not, Will? It's your money. No, I'm not. So it's been this weird, dynamic of how do I give back other than what I'm doing in my craft? if you're listening, thank you. And I'm gonna find out who did it, but thank you.
But do you really have to find out who did it? I'll tell you why I said that.
Guilt.
In my experience in my life, when someone gave me something, I would say no, I'm gonna give it back. But I realized that I'm blocking their blessing, right? God told them to give it to me, and if I refuse it, I'm blocking their blessing, right? And then, and with that, what if you did not go on social media and ask? The power of the ask, right? I don't think you would be able to recover how you recovered, right? Yeah. And people are so afraid to ask for help, to ask for support, but that's the power of community, right? True. We're all in community together, and I mean, it can be something so small. Like yesterday, I was looking for a Coke Zero. Remember?
Yes.
I have 4 quarters, right? The machine did not take quarters. So I asked one person, you have $1? No, I don't have $1. Second person, you have $1? No, I have $1. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to ask anybody else. But some said, keep asking. So I got to 5 people, and that 5th person gave me $1. It's only $1.
He really wanted that Coke
I
Zero.
wanted it, but my point is that it's the power of the ask. You know, if we get embarrassed and afraid to ask, we won't achieve and get what we want, right? But you sat there and you asked despite how you felt.
Yeah. And I think that in that scenario, I was forced to ask. And it was like being the humblest. And it's interesting because the Bible will say, like, you're supposed to be the lender, not the borrower. Yeah. But then, like, ask and it shall be given to you. So it's almost like, how do you juggle? Yeah. How do you? Yeah. God he's always.
But God didn't say. We try to operate in a thing when we look at the Word of God. We try to operate in a thing in one season. We have different seasons, so sometimes we're in and out of seasons, and depending on the season that you're in, God will present you with an opportunity to either be the lender, or the receiver.
Listen, preach now.
Okay.
Preach now.
So we have, I don't know if we'll be able to get them all in, but we do have a couple of audience questions we'll do towards the end. But
we do. Okay.
I do want to ask you this, and it's probably more suited for
honored.
Anthony, so I'll start, and then you two can kind of navigate that, and you'll understand why. You had that experience. You are also a husband and a father.
My goodness.
Right? So, and you're a husband and a father who is a creative, so your art, that's your
bread and butter. That
is your bread and butter. That's your lifeline. That's how you take care of your family. How did that have an impact? Did that experience and what it did to you emotionally and mentally have what impact did that have on the conversations that you and your wife had to have, or how you saw yourself as a husband, father, and provider?
Oh my goodness. Shout out to my wife right now. Babe, I love you. I'm here doing my thing, trying, Oh, that's camera. Yeah. I mean, we can, anyway, babe, you all over here, babe. Yeah. We have an awesome team in a village of mothers who are very active in our lives. We have an awesome level of community that everyone participates and everyone gives. So we are really blessed. We are really, really fortunate. My mom, she did her thing by herself, 3 kids by herself. I don't know how she did that. So we have a community where so we live in the front house. My brother-in-law lives in the back house, and it's like one of those, not to be stereotypical, but one of those Mexican communities where, like, we over here and eat. They come over here and eat. So it's like I'm seeing that for the first time as a black man, seeing that it can work because previous situations it didn't. So we are good, and I thank God for that, and I thank God He continues to bless and provide. So that conversation was, babe, I love you, I trust you. You're leading in God's will. You're doing what I believe He called you to do. So He's gonna provide, and money's gonna come, and that's always been her statement to us. Money's gonna come. And
what did that
we're
do
fortunate.
for you as a man to hear that from your wife?
Oh gosh,
who was already battling with the inner me, right? And the experience that you had just had.
She's my better half. I thank God for her, and I love the fact that this relationship works how it does, and we're in a great space, and I love that woman. Thank you, God, for that woman. That's
wow,
what I'm gonna say. But we gotta find the right one.
Gotta find the right one.
Amen.
Yeah, and I found to find the right one, you have to actually be the right one yourself. You got to be that. You got to be what you want to be. You got to be what you want to have, right? And
message.
One amazing thing for me is that as men, a lot of times we get upset. We judge ourselves off what we are not providing or are providing, right? And one thing that changed my life is that the things that we judge ourselves off of, we get upset off of, is it's things that we don't yet understand, right? We got to constantly seek understanding, and what happened to us in the past won't become our present or our future, right? And with us men, we hold a lot of ego, right? We don't like 1,000%. We don't like to show when we're hurting or in pain.
I'll speak to that. I think I know where you're going, but I'll let you get to the question. But I think I know where you're going.
Hop on it.
Okay.
Hop on it. Go ahead.
So my only experience with marriage growing up was watching the Cosby Show. That was my only experience with marriage. My aunts weren't married. They were married for a little long, going off and on, whatever like that. But I never saw marriage firsthand. So I'm married now. In our first argument, I go down, not argument in a fight, but just in our first disagreements, I go downstairs and I put on the Cosby Show. I'm like, what would Cliff Huxtable do in this moment?
Are you serious?
Where's Cliff?
And as funny as that is, it's sad that I had to go to my only frame of reference to be able to relive the happy. Oh no, the show ends in 30 minutes and it's happy now, and that's not accurate.
Yeah.
And so with marriage counseling, and it's not because of the breakup, it's just to make sure we're fine tuning on the way to get to where we have to go. It's finding the tools to be able to make marriage work for us, because marriage should be a thumbprint or a fingerprint, and everyone's going to be unique in its own individual way. It's not supposed to be the same. It's not supposed to be what it's portrayed in media and all this. Will Smith. No. It's supposed to be what it's supposed to be between the individuals. As long as they're on the same page and they're making it work for the kids and making it work for themselves, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I love that.
Well, we got to do a part two.
Was that where you're going?
That was where I was going.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Definitely. That's where I was going. We need a lot more of that realization, as men, because our thing is like, well, my thing used to be is like, I can't show emotion. I have to keep it to myself, right? But if I have a partner,
I can answer that question too.
It's their duty, responsibility to be there, right? But we have to let go and be able to be vulnerable as men and really speak our truth. There's a reason why men die sooner than women. It's because we hold so much trauma inside. It's like everyone has been through trauma. Everybody's been hurt. Everybody has been through their level of pain, right? But there's healing in expressing. There's healing in community. There's healing in speaking your truth. There's healing in being vulnerable, right? And if we do more of that, then
let me tell you something.
Go ahead. Tell me something. Tell me something.
So there was a lady who I did photos for, and she was like, "This isn't what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing more." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah." She said, "If you don't, you're gonna die, but you're gonna have to wait to be buried at your funeral. So you're gonna die not pursuing what God told you to do. You're gonna die and just be going through the mundane every day, like you're already dead. It's just you're gonna have to be buried at your funeral."
Wow.
So all that you holding on to with ego and that causes the high blood pressure, the stress that will force the early death. And it's important to be able to express yourself and be effective in your expression, not just, oh, you know what I'm saying, she tripping, you know what I'm saying, I told her what it was the first time. No, man, that's my conversation about guys talking.
Right, exactly.
But no, it is important to be able to get your point across and to be able to be heard.
That's Oof. Okay, I'm just soaking it in.
Well, just one thing real quick I want to say is that one thing that people have to realize, or couples, is that we are a mirror of our couple, of our better half. Their actions is a mirror of us. All right, so that's what we got to look at. So we're mirrors, but we got to respect Will's time here.
Yeah,
no, I appreciate it. I talk to y'all all day.
Rapid fire questions for you.
Okay, this is rapid fire, or this is the people who ask questions earlier?
That's it.
That's crazy, fire. Man. People want to ask me questions. That's honored. I'm honored. Whoever you are, thank you in advance. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
And these are two. Kaylina helped to source these questions. But before we do that, last thing, we have to have you back because there just was not enough time.
What you doing tomorrow?
I mean, we could be. I can't speak for anybody else on the team, but
we gotta do.
We gotta do what we gotta do. But please promise that you will come back.
Bro, I promise.
Very soon.
Promise this.
Very soon.
Go ahead, ask the question. I'm here.
I appreciate you. He has to get out of here because he's in demand. It's gonna be 3 questions, real quick.
Go ahead.
Most iconic shoot.
The next shoot.
Ooh. Bars.
I say that because so I love my wife's maternity shoots that I've shot. He dropped the mic. But everything that I've been able to gather over the years is used in my next shoot. So I always strive for what the next one's going to be and the potential of what the next one can be. So I always say the next shoot is going to be my most iconic shoot.
Love that.
Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that because I was expecting the Kendrick Lamar bar. But bruh just
appreciate it. No,
okay.
Appreciate it.
So Will has
everyone has their favorites, but I look forward to the next one.
Hit us with like a couple names that
I mean, Martin Lawrence, Cherry Johnson, Amanda Seales, a couple other people that I shot you one time. Shot you. You good? About shoot Anthony sometime. That's a handsome brother.
I'm next.
I'm married. That's a handsome brother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely. Headshots, bro. You good?
I need it all.
We need it all. So
let's go. This is recorded, so you came back up.
Nah, you good. You good. Y'all got a studio space. We can do it here.
Right.
Yeah.
Go
so
ahead.
make sure if you're listening or watching, wherever you are consuming this content and taking in this show, let us know what questions you have for Will, because there is going to be a part 2 for this, and we're gonna wrap it up.
You're gonna screen these questions, right? Because some of them are crazy. All right, cool. That's an amazing assistant you have right there too.
She's like a dope project manager.
Super
we
dope.
are very grateful. Shout out to Kaylina over there in the background. We are super excited to have her there. Yep. Will content creation be replaced by AI?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. I think it's I think the way that AI is absorbing art and being able to make its own version of it, yes. But just like how reality shows were the big craze with over the standard format with TV shows, I think there's going to be a market for people who still want a certain kind of thing, and there's going to be the market for those who want to pretend they're in fantasy and all that stuff too. And I think that both can coexist.
Okay. How would you encourage photographers to really lean into AI?
Oh, 1,000%.
Okay.
I think you have to know your enemy. And that goes with friendships, that goes with marriage, that goes with business, that goes with photography. Know your enemy.
In every area. All right. And so on the tails of that, what do you feel like, what does it look like to use AI for content creation? So again, you're a content creator. We're all content creators. We have content creators who tune into the show. What do you feel like? So you said there's no way around it. You've got to embrace it. But how do you leverage it so that you can scale your business and the work that you do in a more succinct way?
Interesting. The next thing I'm doing after this podcast, after this wonderful podcast, is a mastermind on AI. So it's like I'm going to be gathering more information about that, which I can answer for the next.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a mastermind. It's by Molly Mahoney. It's in Anaheim. So she's going to be speaking more to that, and I'm actually working it, but also soaking in some knowledge. So I'll give you some notes.
That's the dope part about what you do, right?
To be everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Right. Okay, cool. Will.
Too fast. Come on.
I know. That
Come
was
on.
so fast.
Another question.
Did not have another time.
Oh,
You got
man.
another question?
Got another
we got
question?
a question from the team. Y'all got a question for? I know y'all got to have a question.
Save it for next.
Get started.
In photography?
Ooh.
That's good. That's good.
Hit me.
Shout out to our producer,
Hit
Anthony.
Hit me, and I can give you some tips. I mean, hit me. Don't hit me.
But give one tip for our audience.
If you're going to do it, go all in. No half beeping. Sorry. No half beeping. You want to be in it, but also have a good internship or a good mentor as well. Find yourself a good mentor and learn under them.
Mentors are important.
They will fast forward your progress a lot faster than going to YouTube, figuring out, troubleshooting. Find a good mentor, and they should lead you the right way.
And if they can't, what's the first practical step that they can take? They don't have the money.
Interesting. There are kids in Africa who are doing movies with cell phones.
Yeah.
So there are no excuses. Yeah. Whenever you get a second, go to YouTube after this podcast, of course. Go to YouTube and put in African Bad Boys 2 or something like that. There was a kid who shot frame by frame. Did you see that?
No, but
frame by frame what Will Smith and Martin Lawrence did. So if there was a car driving, they had a cart in place of that car, and it shows their version on top of the real movie one.
Wow.
So ain't no excuses. Wow. No excuses. These cameras, these cell phone cameras are shooting movies. There's no excuses.
I love it. You
have to want it more than you talk about it.
And that's the first step in wanting it. But speaking of mentorship, I think it would be super valuable if you spoke to our members of our group on photography, because we have an exclusive group of people who get mentored by us.
Sure.
Right. So if you're willing to come to our group and share,
I'm willing to share and come to the group and talk about what I know.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask. Just let me know what day. Hopefully I'm not booked, but I'm willing. I don't know. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to share what I know.
Yeah.
It's not much, but it's valuable.
Thank you, brother. All right, let's give it up for our guest. This has been incredible. Incredible.
Born to Create. I've never, growing up, I never wanted to wear shoes. One, we couldn't afford the nicest ones. So I just I'd just go out around the house, out and about, and I stubbed my toe one time. I'm like, I see why you have to wear them. Yeah. But I've naturally been someone who don't want to wear shoes. I want to be grounded with the environment. I want to be present in why it is that I'm in what's taking place right now. I feel like sometimes shoes block, wearing shoes blocks me from truly being connected with the earth and what people are trying to tell me right now versus God bestowing upon what could take place in this environment. I only want to give 1,000% of myself to a situation or don't do it. Yeah. So me being grounded helps me give the best version of myself and be rooted in today's conversation and be interesting in some forms and facets. But I don't ever want to give you less than what I am.
Man.
Never ever. Thank you.
Thank you.
He's giving the wrap up
for being here with us today. Listen, we are going to have a continued conversation with Will very soon, so stay locked in.
I'll bring pictures.
Bring pictures. You can bring your art. We will have all of his information in the show notes, so you can make sure that you connect with him, follow him. This is the Born to Create podcast, the #1 podcast for creators.
Number one.
You hear that, right? Will said it, right? But here's what we want you to always remember. Don't put yourself in a box, and don't allow anybody else to put you in a box either, because you were born to create, and so were we. I am your co-host, KL Jones, along with my brothers.
You know my name, but thanks, Will. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming on here. You are a true creator, my man. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless y'all.
We're out. Bye. See you on the next episode.